Welcome to Mind Over Maths, where in this video we'll be expanding brackets. Now this is not what you think it is, if you've never heard of expanding brackets before, where, say if I had hello in brackets, I'm not simply making the brackets bigger, I'm not moving the brackets further away. In fact, I'm getting rid of the brackets completely, which goes against the complete word expanding brackets. So, what you're really doing is, say if I have 2x and I'm timesing it by 3. You're trying to get rid of the brackets. So, with brackets, the first rule that we'll come across is where there's something outside the brackets. You're simply just timesing it by what's in the brackets. So, in this case, 3 times 2x is just 6x, because it's just 3 times 2x, which is just think of it as 3 times 2. The x is it's negligible. It does not matter. It's, in this case, you're just going 3 times 2, that's 6x. As if you have 3 lots of 2x, it's 6x. Now, the second scenario, when it comes to expanding brackets, is if you have, say if you have x plus 3, and then you have another bracket next to it, and you have x plus 2. Now in this case, it's a bit more complex, because when you're expanding brackets, you're trying to expand everything within it. So you're expanding this by this, this by this, this by this, and this by this. Now, first I'd like to show you, say if I had x plus 3, and I was just timesing it by x, I would times the x by that, and the x by the 3, which would make x squared, as x times x is equal to x squared. So x squared as x times x is equal to x squared, which I'm getting from this line here. And 3 times x is equal to 3x. Now, because it's a positive 3x, it's just plus 3x. Now, as you see, we have got rid of the brackets from this equation here, and they've completely gone to end up with x squared plus 3x. Now, back to this equation. So you can see we've got an x squared as this value. I'll get a different coloured pen here. This value will times by this value, and I'll also times by this value here. So we've also got x, so we've got x squared, which we'll do in blue, x squared, I'll actually get rid of that in blue, and then we've also got the x is also times by the 2, because you need this x to times by the 2 terms in this bracket. You need times by both of them. So then you'll have plus 2x, as x times positive 2 is just 2x, which if I just write it out, times 2 equal to 2x, just like that. So x squared plus 2x. Now once you've sorted out the first one, you've times it by these 2, we now just need to times the 3 by these 2. So here if we have the 3, and we'll times this first by the x. So positive 3 times x is just plus 3x. It is as simple as that. And then finally, we want the 3 to times by the 2, which is this last arrow here. Which 3 times 2 is just 6, so plus 6. So now you have, if I write it out underneath, x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. Now this is actually the same as x squared plus 5x plus 6, as 2x plus 3x is equal to 5x. If you have 2 lots of x and you add it to 3 lots of x, that is just equal to 5 lots of x. like I said, the x doesn't matter. And the x squared just goes down to there. The 6 just goes down to there. And that is that expanded. X squared plus 5x plus 6 plus 3 squared. Now, if you see this equation, all the squared is saying is it's times by itself. It could be cubed, which would mean it's times by itself, times by itself, times by itself yet again. So, assuming it's squared, the simplest of them, x plus 3 squared is the same as x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now, it's really important that you don't just leave it as this, because if you leave it as this and you do x plus 3 squared, you might assume, oh, well, say if there was another one, it would be x squared, and then there would be, oh, well, there's a 3 there, so that's squared as well, so that'll be plus 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. But it's not x squared plus 9, because when you actually bring the two x plus 3's together, you'll notice that, yes, there is an x squared, and yes, there is a 9, but there's also a 3x from there and a 3x from there, which puts together x squared plus 6x plus 9. So you would have missed out on this 6x, which would have been a completely wrong answer. So make sure that if you get an x squared, you multiply it out. Anyway, that is that for this lesson. It was a very short one. There are other things to expand in brackets that I will come across in other lessons which are a bit more complicated. However, this was really covering the basics. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good evening, or good dinner, or whatever's happening. Have a good day. Goodbye.